Today in this tutorial, we are going to learn about the SUMIF and SUMIFS function in Excel. How we know we need SUMIF or SUMIF function. How we can use SUMIF and SUMIF functions with multiple criteria. So let's have a look for some example of SUMIF and SUMIF function in our daily life. And I will show you how to use this function. So stay tuned with me. Let me show you how. SUMIF function. In this function, we have given single criteria to find the amount of a person in the given data table. First, we write the equal sign SUMIF. Press the tab key, open the parenthesis. As a first argument, it asks the range. So range for us is an line hold in this representative column. So we press the Control Shift down arrow key, select the whole column and press F4 function key to lock our range and press comma. Now it asks as a second argument criteria. Our criteria is line hold. He sits in the cell I3. If it's a text value, we can put in a double quotes, but here we have already in the cell, so we select the cell, put comma, and now it asks the sum range. Sum range is the amount range what we want to look for the line hold from the complete amount range. We select again the whole amount range by pressing Control Shift down arrow key, press F4 key to lock the range and close the parenthesis. Hit the enter. We have our answer of amount from the line hold from the complete amount column. Now we check our second one criteria. Line hold amount for the Dashatini criteria. So let's again put the equal sign. We write this time SUMIF as, because we have two criteria here. Press the tab key, it opens the parenthesis. Here first is ask as a first argument sum range. Remember, in the SUMIF function it was asking criteria range, but here it's a sum range. Our sum range is the amount range which we are looking. Again press the Control Shift down arrow key, select the whole range, press F4, lock the range, comma, and our criteria range, because first is a line hold, is a criteria range. He sits in the representative column. Control Shift down arrow key, select the whole range. Again press F4 key to lock the range, comma, and criteria 1. Criteria 1 is our line hold. We put here, comma. Now, in the function argument, it asks us second criteria range. So our second criteria range is for the Dashatinib. Dashatinib sits in the drug column. We select whole range by pressing again Control Shift down arrow key. Lock the range by pressing F4. We lock, put comma, and it asks criteria. Our criteria is Dashatinib. We select Dashatinib and close the parenthesis. Hit the enter. We have our amount for line hold Dashatinib condition. Now we check our third criteria with two conditions. Line hold amount from the total amount for sorafenib, but particularly for Dabistock. So let's see. Again, we will check. Press the equal sign. Write sum if s. Press the tab key. Again, it asking a sum range. Our sum range is from here. We select. Press F4 key, comma. Criteria range. Criteria range is a Reinhold. He sits in this column. Control Shift down arrow key. Press F4, comma, and our criteria first is here, comma. Now our second criteria range for the second criteria range for a sorafene where it sits, it exists in this column here. So we select whole column by Control Shift down arrow key, F4, lock it, comma, and criteria is sorafene, again comma. Now it asking our third criteria because here in this function best thing is this, we can give the multiple criteria until 29 30 something. So now we for our third criteria range for dev stock, it exists in the company column. We select again Control Shift down arrow key, press F4 to lock the range, comma, and third criteria is our dev stock. We select it, control the parenthesis, hit the enter. We have our perfect answer here for the Reinhold Sorapini dev stock criteria. So like this, we can find all these answers, and we can check these answers also down in this table by setting up a formula called subtotal. I have a video earlier on the subtotal amount, and I will provide you a link in the description for this. Now we have another question to find the total amount between the two particular dates. Like for example, here we have a start date 23rd February 2019 and 30th May 2019. So we want to know the amount of total amount between two dates. So how we gonna check this amount? Let's have example here. So we write the equal sign, and because here is again multiple criteria, we are using a sum if s function. As the tab key, open the parenthesis, select the sum range as a first argument. First argument from here, we select the whole range by pressing Ctrl Shift down arrow key and lock the range by pressing F4, comma. Criteria range. Criteria range is our date. Here, criteria range is a date. Date exists from here. Ctrl Shift down arrow key, press F4, comma. And now the important thing comes for the criteria. How we have to give criteria? We need to give a particular condition for this date. We need we starting from 23rd February and onwards. So we have to put here in a double quotes greater than and equal to sign in a double quotes that joined by the end key with the start date. This is our criteria. We have to given this criteria like this way. Again, I will repeat. We are starting from 23rd February and calculating amount from 23rd February to ahead until 30th May. So that is our first criteria. So we give this criteria in the double quotes, the condition and our date. Now comes the second criteria range as the argument asks. So here is again a date. Date again we select from here. Control Shift down arrow key. Fix again is the date. Put comma. Now criteria, second criteria, that is our end date. So we are checking lower and equals to, but before that we have to put this in double quotes, lower and equals to what with the end key our date and close the bracket or parenthesis and hit the enter. So this is the amount which we are getting between these two dates. So we can check. As you can see, I highlight this date is starting from here and it's going until the down until here in this table 30th May. If we select this amount from here to our particular update until this, so you can see here in the down it's giving the same amount 730,33764 730,33764. So like this way we can calculate the amount between the two dates by using a SUMIF function. I hope until that point you understand how to use SUMIF and SUMIF function with the multiple criteria. Now we have given ask the amount between the months, start of the month and end of the month. So for the particular dates, how we gonna to check this one? So here we we have to use a formula is called end of month. End of month formula we are going to use. So as we put this function here end of month and press the tab key and select our start date, comma, put 0, and close the bracket, so it gives the end date of the particular month. So it's the 1st January, 1st February, 1st March and 1st of April. So we got here 31st January, 28th February, because the 28 days in the February, and we have here this. So let's check the amount between these two particular dates. It's the same as we used earlier, SUMIFS function, and sum range is the amount between this and this. We control shift down arrow key, hit the F4 key, comma, criteria range, because the date we have to again select the date from here to here, down, press F4 key and comma. Now again we have to give the criteria in the double quotes because we are checking greater than and equals to with the end of this date, comma. Now the second criteria range is again our date. We check from here to here, press F4 key, comma, and now our second criteria is the date equal and lower than the end of the date. So again in the double quotes, lower than and equals to, double quotes and key, and it will be the K17. K17, close the parenthesis and hit the enter. As you see, if we hit the enter, we got some amount here. It says the 830,000. So it's for January. So we can check for January, uh, 1st of January to 30th of January here, this range, and if we select this range from here to here, you can see here amount, then down 83,000, 830,000, and it's the same here 830,000. So now if we hold from here and drag it down, we get the whole amount for the all the dates. So like this we can calculate amount for the particular person with the multiple criterias. We using a sum if s function, we can calculate the amount for the particular dates of the months, between the months, or for one particular month, from the start of the month to end of the month. So guys, I hope you understand by these examples how to use some if and some if s function. And if you like to improve your skills in the Excel, please try to consider my channel and subscribe it. Thanks for the watching.